for people who sing in different language, since nobody gonna take your mic from you to
Yeah,
sing the
but
same song.
nobody wants to go with me too.
Wait, if you're a good singer, then I want to go with you. A-
But
a-
yeah,
And for the party atmosphere, doesn't matter. My friends sing the song that I don't know all the time, but it's fine. It's just, yeah, it's just fun to see others express themselves.
yeah. So maybe I can go myself. Nobody will snatch the mic from me.
Ah, well, I guess welcome to karaoke in Vietnam. If you have a chance, I will, yeah,
Is that
arrange.
Chinese song?
Do you want to see me express myself?
You can express yourself, but I also want to express myself.
Hey, wait. I think you can connect your phone. So, yeah. So they
It's
have
very
a
smart.
room and a mic, yeah, speakers.
Very smart. Okay, I look forward.
Uh, so what are you going to share today?
I only read half a chapter of this book. I haven't finished it.
Uh,
It's the
this
last chapter, but I haven't finished it yet.
This fine. That's a whole book already. So since
Yeah.
today is the end of 21 21 day of reading. So
Yes.
yeah, you can start by sharing your book. I think it's good. For me, I just read 15% of the book. So,
Mm.
but
But
I'm reading an interesting book. Yeah, you can start. Can you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, it's I read the chapter on the last chapter, which is about the title is called Blood is Thicker. Mhm.
Wow.
So the book started with, of course, sharing about the history of chimpanzee research in the 1950s and 60s. Then after that, details about their behavior, about their ecology, about their conflicts. At the last, they talk about the relationship with humans because chimpanzees, we know that is the closest living relative to humans. So this chapter talks about how back in the 1600s, so we're talking about close to 400 years ago, when humans encountered chimpanzees and they're fascinated about this animal that looks very similar to humans. So, of course, at that time, because they're so curious, they went hunting, right, to take the animal specimen so that they can dissect, they can cut the animal up to see what kind of organs, what kind of fur this animal has. And so when they cut the first animal up, that was in 1699, 400 years ago, that they realized, wow, it's so closely related to humans, like the bones, the skin, the muscles, the organs, that they felt like this is this is the most closely related animal to humans. But because at that time, they believe that, most people believe that God created species. And so they believe that each species are separate. So they are unique. A human is a human species, a chimpanzee is chimpanzee species, but they have no history among them. That's what they think at that time. So with this animal that's dissected, they realize it's so similar that when they talk about anatomy, they realize that perhaps they share a common animal before. So now we say it's a common ancestor. But at that time, they believe that maybe there's a common animal between humans and chimpanzees. So it was only later, like really much later, maybe about 100 or 200 years later, when there's improvement in technology. So before DNA, they use immunology. So like how animals react with their immune system, with their proteins. That's when they realized that humans and chimpanzees, on top of just physically look similar, even their genes, like their DNA or their proteins, react in the same way. So that's when they started to dig the fossil record, meaning like they do excavation, archaeology, and they found a lot of fossils in I would say like dated back to 1 million or 2 million years ago. That slowly they realized that there are other species. So species are not separate. Species is a continuous evolution. So as you go further and further and further into time in the past, they realize that there is an animal that is common between humans and chimps. So that was a big revolution at that time because everybody felt that humans are the top of the hierarchy. So to have an animal that actually shares the same history as humans 5 million years ago, it was shocking to them. Yeah. So this chapter was very interesting because it showed me in the past, couple of 100 years of research, the changes in people's mind. Because in the past, in the 1700s or 1800s, when the Westerners, they are more advanced in their research, they will view other races as inferior, right? So there are a lot of books in the past that show Chinese race, Indian race, or other European race that are inferior compared to the Westerners, like the Americans. So they have museums that exhibit, or the zoos that exhibit Chinese. And maybe you have heard of it before, like on top of animals in the circles or in the zoo, they also have humans of other races to show that this is Chinese, is different from us, Europeans or Americans. This is Indian, so it's very different from us. And so that was based on a concept that species are created by God separately, so we're not related to each other. But with this, it made people realize that we are all closely related and we are sharing a same evolutionary history. Yeah, so this book was very interesting. I like the last chapter where they bring it back to us as humans, that we share so many similarities, but at the same time, there are only 1.5% difference between humans and chimp that made us actually look quite different, right? Chimps and humans. Yeah, so that concludes my chapter.
Oh, only the chapter, not the whole book.
Oh, you want me to share the whole book?
I mean, you're only a chapter away from finishing, right?
I'm half a chapter from finishing.
Oh yeah. So, you can share your book if you like. Is there anything else interesting?
Yeah, so I think the past few weeks I shared a few chapters on this book. So yeah, it started with the history of studying chimpanzees. I don't know whether you remember. So I like that to me, Dr. Jane Goodall is the most famous, right? She is like very prominent. Everybody talks about her for chimpanzees. But even before her, there are a lot of researchers that have put in time and effort and money to do the work. It's just that one of her discoveries is so interesting and new because like humans, on top of humans, chimpanzees can use tools. So this was something that they felt, wow, other animals can use tools, it's not just humans. That actually one of the reasons why she became so famous. But then like I realized there are other researchers who are not as famous, but has a lot of time put into the work. I just felt like sometimes you only see the celebrity, right? The most famous person. And then you forget like all the other people who work as hard or sometimes even more hardworking than the celebrity.
You share about this. Yeah.
So I would say my sentiments or my feeling about this book is that it's a very easy read. You don't have to be a researcher. Actually, you shouldn't be a researcher to read this anyway. It's just something to make you understand the world of chimpanzee and the world of chimpanzee researchers. Yeah. So
So, how is your belief stand in evolution theory at this point? Do you still think is the thing that actually happened in the past, or you might, or you don't see any other might fit in the logic?
I think the thing is for me, just like religion, right?
Mm.
It's something that I believe when I see it. As in, but with that in mind, I'm not saying that things that I don't see, I don't believe, but that I don't have enough data or evidence to say it is or is not. So, with just what I can see and what's available, I believe evolution is definitely real because, of all the data, the fossils, the information that came out. But whether this is the only way how things work, I don't know. But it's the most explainable reason for how things work. That's what I would say. So I believe in it, but I don't know enough to say there are no other factors that affect. So that's why, yeah, that's why.
Yeah, that's the great way to deduct the truth. Since if you care about um, something else other than facts, then you might get lost in confusion. Sometimes it's just politics or prejudice of science. This is the other side of science that might like they don't do enough falsification to make their claim. Yeah, but that's an interesting topic for another day. But for now, I think you share all the thing you found interesting. Have you done anything recently to your face, skin? You look incredible. Like
Glowing?
no, like your skin looks smoother and more pink. Yeah. Have you been?
No,
No.
I no, I didn't. I think,
Uh,
huh, that's a that's a nice way to say it, but no, I didn't do anything.
yeah. You look great today. Um, should I say in Vietnamese? Yeah, I
Yeah.
should. Xin chào mọi người. Vậy Andy cũng vừa mới chia sẻ thêm về cái chương mà cô ấy đang đọc ở trong cái cuốn lịch sử của loài tinh tinh, thì cô ấy đang đọc và biết được một sự thú vị là vào những cái năm đầu của hoặc là cuối của thế kỷ 17, đầu thế kỷ 18 thì các nhà khoa học đã tiến hành giải phẫu các con tinh tinh để nhận thấy được một điều sự thật có thể gọi là cú sốc đối với thế giới. Đấy là thật sự là con người với cả tinh tinh có mối quan hệ cách đây 5 triệu năm. Và trước nay thì họ vẫn nghĩ là con người là một giống loài tối thượng, không có cái sự kết nối nào với các cái loài yếu thế hơn hoặc là kém thông minh hơn. Thì mình nghĩ tất cả những cái mà cô ấy nói cũng xoay quanh điều đó thôi. Đấy là chương cuối cô ấy chia sẻ. Còn nếu như các bạn đã xem các cái buổi livestream trước thì còn cả việc cái cuốn sách này sẽ giúp cô ấy mở mang thêm, ngoài cái giáo sư mà cô ấy cho là người rất vĩ đại ra, thì còn rất nhiều cái công trình nghiên cứu khác mà nói về tinh tinh mà cũng rất là chuyên sâu. Thế cô ấy rất là hứng thú.
You don't look very well.
Well, I'm feeling well since I have time to party, I have time to express myself, have time to have fun. Well, yeah, hell of a time. So, yeah, it's worth it. It's sometimes.
It's like a torture to your physical body, but a cure to your mental.
Oh, what a great way to say it. I think I share all the Vietnamese part. In maybe, do you want to say anything else, or do you want to
About
share
this
it?
book?
Yeah. Maybe the thing you read recently. Do you read multiple books at a time? Like, no, you have to finish one to move to another. Yeah.
So, at the start of this year, I think maybe I shared with you before. I'm usually not someone who would say my New Year resolution is this. Like
Resolution.
usually at the
Yeah.
count, people would say, "What's your New Year resolution?" And then I think you asked me the question before. And then I say, I don't have a New Year resolution because I think things change over time. And also, why should I use a year to determine what I need to do when it's like a start of the year to determine what I need to do for the rest of the year? I shouldn't tie myself or bind myself to this kind of promise that I will forget about it, right? Because people forget about their New Year resolution. But I was in Indonesia for the workshop recently, last week or last
Yeah.
week.
Last week.
And in their workshop, they want the participants to say a promise. So I was like, I'm not someone who do that. But then for the workshop, I will think of something that I will promise to do. So I was thinking for a while, what would be something that I promised myself that I would do, and write it down and remember it. So I thought for a long time, and one thing that I wrote down was that I said I will finish what I start before I take on another new thing.
Was that the promise for this year, or the promise for
I think it's just
anything?
in general. So it's just a philosophy or a direction, in the sense that I always feel like when people ask me to do something, I will say, okay, I'll do it. Or, I want to help the person, so I'll do something. But over time, my plate will be more and more and more and more. Many, 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 many things. To the point that sometimes, because I promise to do something, but I don't deliver on time, it's actually bad for the work or the person asking the work to be done, right? Because I'm delaying it. I might not be the best person to do it. If I say no, this person could ask another person to do it and it could be better or on time. But because I thought like I want to help or it's interesting, I will do it. So many things that I have to do, but I don't finish it on time or I don't finish at all, it's actually very bad. So the one thing I promise is that I should definitely finish what I have first before I take on something new. So similarly to the book, even though there's like a lot of books that are very interesting, I felt like if I don't finish it and I start something else, I might lose track of the time and that I should finish one before another. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when the book is interesting, so you lose all the attention to the book if you read multiple books at a time. So may you not find the interesting part in it anymore, since it's a book, so it's deliberately written for some outcome at the end, but then you lose track and all the things lost. That's a nice strategy.
I think it's just an overall idea, applies to life, applies to work, that you need to see it to the end of what you started, to give it a conclusion also, just like a book, because your life is also about a book, right? I don't know, it's just Yeah, it's just a revolution when I attended a workshop.
Some food for thoughts. Okay, I can share mine. So for me, last week was continue reading about the culture of Vietnam throughout, not through time, but actually through topic. This author written the book in topics of thing in culture that will not easily separate the chapter, since any part of the chapter when in a particular topic can be can be a separate and not concerning the other topic, but yeah, interesting book when you say but then the name of the book also has the history in it, so every topic just go from the very beginning, when how the culture start, and to the very end. And last week I read about the handcraft art, that also part of our culture. So there's many things that I haven't think or maybe haven't figured out somewhere elsewhere. Just by reading this book is opened my mind a lot. Like search for the word. In the feudal time, the handicraft or handcraft, what's the right word? Handicraft. Handicraft. The handicraft divine into families. So they're families of handicrafts. They choose their own product to be excel in it, and they have to also pay taxes to the villages, the head of the villagers, and then villagers continue to pay to the king. There's special families who receive order directly from the king, or from the very high end of the hierarchy, to make all the specific products for the king. So there's the clothes. What do I say? Clothes. When the art is passed down to generations, it should all the families think that it should be close in their family, not pass it to outsiders. So there's some strict rules about how to not lose what you're good at someone else hand. And there's just a plethora of it, which is quite long to share. But, let me think.
I suddenly find relevant or similarity between your book about handicraft and my book about chimpanzee? It's a bit like your handicraft is about species, different species, and then they say this species, this handicraft should be belonging to this family, and then this one belongs to another family.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, I see how different handicraft, different people making a handicraft, sharing perhaps interactions or influence from each other, that the end product of your work, it's a consolidation of your interactions, your life, your thinking that resulted in this thing. So it's not just, even though they say it's part of your family tradition, this is created by your family, but I see that relationship with your community outside the family and interactions with others. So it's a bit like this. I felt like there is this shared kind of relationship, even though it's separate.
Well put. So do chimpanzee live in families, and do they have rules for each family?
They have a certain culture. I think I talked about culture the last.
Oh yeah. Culture.
So they have their own. Other people have their own. But because, if you talk about influence of the environment to your work, to your behavior, it's so related. So now that I think about your book of handicraft, how it passes down the culture from one family to your next generation, that changes over time. So if you look at, say, for example, 1900s, all the handicraft that's created in Vietnam, even though it's from different family, different community, you compare to like 50 years later, all the handicraft again. I felt like you could see the changes over time that's based on the culture at that time. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain. So like something that's created in the 1950s and something that's created in 2000, even though they're all different from different families, they could represent something unique in that time.
Oh yeah.
It could be because of war. It could be because of changes in the economy. It could be changes in terms of people's mindset that's being reflected in the art. Yeah.
Well said.
Oh, something interesting. I want to read the book.
Yeah, but I don't know if it has an English version, although it's a very famous book. When you have a time in Hanoi, then I will take you to the Thăng Long Citadel, where you can. They put antiques in different dynasty in Vietnamese history into display, that you can see. Every dynasty has their own dragon, but very unique to tell if that dragon from that time, and also different art of creating the ceramic, and also the soil that used to, you also know, talk about ceramic. I think Chinese excel in it. Then you might also find similarity in our northern neighbor. Okay, and continue. About trading in that era. In that era, trading is something was something not popular among Vietnamese, since we can support our own. I mean,
self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient. Is that the word? And
you kind of depend on yourself. You don't need others. You have all your resources.
Yeah, so trading is not very famous. And also the tax on trading is something that not being considered important. Uh, and the thing that important to important to pay taxes are human and land. Yeah, so those are more concrete. And in also, always, I mean, not in the feudal time, but or maybe now also, if there's somewhere which trading is happen more regularly or in a larger scale, the Chinese took the highest place in that area. That particular, I can say area. Let's see. And I learned also the north to south highway that across the country nowadays. It happened. It was just like a trail in the past where people just regularly walk on. So that make a trail from north, very very beginning of the north to the farthest south, and until 20th century or at the end of 19th century, the king renovate it and make it, more reliable for traveling across the country with stations along the way, and maybe easier to travel by horses or also the time the French got in the country, and they made all kind of big renovation to the traffic and infrastructure, and they also the French invest in the railway, which is very new to Vietnamese at the time, the beginning of the 20th century. We used to use the waterway more, and that's why every dynasty in the past they put attention on renovating the waterway and make it more accessible to every province or every area that could flourish in growing crops, and to every high population area.
Can I share another thing?
Can you?
It's so funny. You talk about the changes in the industry, right? From when it's the path to the road, the canal way, the waterway to the railway. Yesterday, I had a gathering with my friends. So I haven't met them in a few months. So we had a gathering, and they play board games. So the board game is about, I forgot what's the title of the board game now, but the whole point of the board game is about industrialization. So you start with a small economy. Maybe it's the production of cotton, iron, coal, or food and beverages. And you need to do trading. So you need to build your canalway, your waterway to different industries so that you can go and do trading and sell your products. So that is considered one generation. Once you finish that, the next round, it's railway road. So no more waterway because all the waterway has improved into a railway where there's a track and the train to send your products for trading. So when you talk about this, industrialization in Vietnam, I just remember I played a game yesterday, which is
Yeah,
about industrialization.
yeah, but
That's so cool.
yeah, so cool. But in feudal time, I believe people were, you know, make an emphasis on waterway and the canal and yeah,
Mm,
whole system of water, of river and lake in general, just to grow crops and yeah, also um, raise their livestock. Uh, so I learned also about taxes. So there's two taxes, two type of taxes, and maybe apply also at present is the how do you say is non-direct taxes and direct taxes, and yeah, I shared about this earlier. Is about the feudal government doesn't think trading is something important, so the taxes came from it. It's not very important like present. Right now, the trading is more, yeah, is more in scale and volume, and that's why taxes in trading is contributing a large amount to the government. But at that time, it was not, and yeah, only human and land are the concrete thing that you can, you know, the government collect taxes through that. And I learned also in the feudal time, not everyone has an obligation to pay taxes. The government only collect taxes through head of the village, uh, and the village decide who pay taxes in their village. So there's some like smaller but also very separate hierarchy in villages, which the king or the government cannot interfere. So I learned this before, but only vaguely understand what's really happened in the villages in the past. Well, I think that part of the reason why we can live happily even though the government isn't maybe not pay enough attention to villages, but we can still manage our own. Yeah, I think that's all the thing I read from last week, and yeah, not many things to share since too much information, but yeah, all the thing I feel interesting I share. So yeah, there's that. Maybe this week I will read more interesting thing and do not talk in very sleepy voice next week.
In a very deep and sexy voice.
Oh, I'm sexy. Oh yes, thanks.
It's a it's a character of it's a male voice, right? When it's very deep and magnetic. That's the word.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
So you want to be thick for a
Yeah.
long time in order to
Mm.
use this voice.
Yeah, I have to party harder. Yeah, I'm biting my lips for become sexy. I'm sexy. I'm sexy. Yeah, I'm sexy. What are you sharing in chat? What's this?
No, it's just the game that I want to the board game I want to show you,
Oh,
industrialization. Do you
industrialization.
play board games?
I do. But very limited. You can
Yeah,
introduce me to some.
yeah, I only play when my friends are playing because they have a collection of board games. This one I find it interesting but very hard to learn because there's many rules. Oh, my cat is here.
The shy one or
It's
the
the
other
it's
one?
the the Touch shy one. Let me show you. Let me show you.
Oh
He's
yeah.
jumping the.
I can only see the shine one indirectly.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's not the shy one. Too bad. It's the same cat. The same cat.
Is that? Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Oh,
Yeah. So what walking trip are you going for?
walking trip.
You're going to walk, right?
Yeah. Walking. Is is organized by the Arabic embassy.
Oh,
Yeah, to raise awareness about big cat conservation.
big
Yeah,
cats.
yeah, cheetah and others. Yeah, I have never been to this before, but they imply that they do it annually.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, yeah, it's very interesting. I want to see what they're doing, and maybe I learn a thing or two about communication, and also learn about big cats. I never. The only thing I learned about big cats that through the fundamental of conservation biology book is about the experiment they do on cheetah, because they are inbreeding.
Mm-hmm.
Although they have very large territory and they can move very far, but they
Mm-hmm.
still suffer from inbreeding. That they take a skin from a cheetah and apply it to a wound of other cheetah. And if
Mm.
the inbreeding is not, if it's not happen, then the body of the cheetah, let's say cheetah B, cheetah A and cheetah B reject the the skin, but the skin just yeah become a part
Mm.
of cheetah B. Yeah,
You
because
know,
inbreeding. Yeah.
so this one it's something that your work gave you the opportunity to go, or you knew it from your own context.
They send invitation to CCD and I read it.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
told
so
Dr. Ha
exciting.
then can I wear a CCD jacket
That is so interesting.
to yeah, and he said
I,
yeah, and I can invite anyone because since this is
I
a
want to go.
walking. I will call you. I'll call you on
Can
the
I
way.
join the walk virtually?
Yeah, you're going to walk virtually. Yeah,
Um,
I'll walk for you. Yeah.
you know
So
why?
I
It's
put the
also
name Andy Ang on the list of registration. So yeah, so you virtually
I
walking
go
at
on
the
behalf.
Gum Lake.
And I don't know what's with today and this session, but I found another relevance to what you just said.
Ah,
You're
what's that?
gonna let me show you. Let me share my screen.
Yes, you can.
How funny is this? Okay, let me see. Share screen. Oh, you disabled. Okay, then it's okay. I don't have to share screen.
Invisible. How?
But it says host disabled participant screen sharing. So I can't.
Advanced sharing option. Host only. Participant. I put it in
Okay, thank you. I
participant.
see it now. All right. So you can see my email, right?
Yeah. Kumar
So
Pillai.
this is a senior management from the zoo, Singapore Zoo. And
They used the same text that I see on the
on the
advertising board for for
yeah.
the Jubilee
Mm,
anniversary. Yeah.
mm. So what I want to show is 2 weeks ago, I got an invitation from it's like uh, one of the bosses of the zoo to say that Tetron, Tetron Zoo in Iran, they are doing a conservation for cheetahs. So it's in the Arabic country, right? They
Mm-hmm.
are interested in cheetahs.
Mm.
And they want to learn from Singapore if there's any projects that shows successful conservation and whether we can do a talk. So my boss's boss thinks that we can talk about the Raffles Bennett Langer, which is the project that I'm doing.
Uh-huh.
So it's a time, the meeting is Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give a talk to Tetron Zoo about the monkey conservation in Singapore and how we can help with their cheetah conservation. So I think it's related to what you just mentioned, the walk for cheetahs to raise awareness in Arab country. This is the same, Iran.
So I guess they active everywhere when they run for some campaign. Also,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just so fascinating that it's relevant. The walk that you are doing today is like
Mm.
same as I was gonna do a talk next week.
So and it's a pleasure for me to resonate with every movement of conservation around the world. Yeah. So today you will have a privilege of virtual walking in their annual event. Okay, I think I have my
Okay.
breakfast now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hungry, and maybe that the reason that caught my nose running. Yeah, nose running before the feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Have a good breakfast, a hearty breakfast, so that you can have a good walk.
Talk about healthy breakfast. I don't have anything to eat with eggs. No. Yeah, just
Toast?
I don't have toast here. I came back late last night, so no toast for me. But I think I can boil some eggs and stuff for myself.
With eggs,
Yes.
with lots of protein.
Yeah, that's the best way to begin a walk. And yeah, it is strange, but I do want some coffee.
Oh, finally. I'm drinking coffee.
Did you try? Did you try my
Yes,
coffee?
that's
How
the
how
one.
how is it?
It's good. I like it.
How is
Oh,
compared to the previous coffee box?
I find it a bit lighter.
Uh,
I find it a bit lighter, but I don't know whether it's because I didn't add sugar, so it didn't bring out the actual aroma. But I like it when there's no sugar. So I like it black. That's my favorite kind of coffee.
oh, black, no sugar.
No sugar.
Uh,
Because you have to understand the bitterness of life to understand the sweetness.
uh,
I don't need
yeah, you put you put philosophy in that.
behind everything.
Yeah, but interesting. You are an addict. You're an addict, I think.
Once a day. Once a day I think it's okay.
Uh,
Addict will be like throughout the day. So once a day I'm a controlled addict. Controlled.
control addict. Yeah, very aware addict.
Self-awareness.
Yeah, like I saw the meme yesterday about the werewolf and a werewolf. A werewolf.
Werewolf and a werewolf?
Yeah. Werewolf. Yeah, is a traditional werewolf, but the werewolf is some wolf doing meditation. Aware. Yeah.
That's very funny. So a werewolf that doesn't kill, the werewolf that practices medication and
Yeah.
meditation.
Yeah. Aware space wolf. Yeah.
Very funny.
So yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm stuffed myself now.
Okay. Have a good
Yeah.
walk for
Have a
conservation.
good walk, and yeah, I'll meet you when I'm there. Okay. Do you available this morning, or may I interrupt you later? Can I?
大丈夫です. No problem.
大丈夫です.
It means no problem.
Không vấn đề gì. Yeah. I just
Okay, come on, come on, Raven.
không vấn đề gì. Yeah.
Không vấn đề đi. Okay.
Không vấn.
Alright.
Yeah.
Không vấn đề đi.
Uh, okay, I'll see you later. Okay.
Okay, see you in a bit.
See you.
Bye
See you.
bye.
Bye. Ok, vậy là chúng ta đã đến cuối của phiên chia sẻ hôm nay rồi, và rất xin lỗi mọi người là mình mải chơi quá không đăng post về thay đổi giờ livestream, nhưng mà hy vọng là mọi người vẫn dành thời gian để xem lại cái livestream này, bởi vì cũng có nhiều cái ý hay, mặc dù là mình chia sẻ rất là tệ thì không có sự chuẩn bị. Nhưng mà mình đã take note. Ok, hôm nay mình có một cái việc phải đi sớm nên là hẹn gặp lại mọi người. Chúc mọi người một cuối tuần vui vẻ. Hẹn gặp lại.